Welcome back. Today we'll be refuting Jewish apologist Tovia Singer. Tovia Singer makes many videos where he attacks Christian beliefs, and in one of his most recent videos he attacked the belief that the Messiah couldn't be a divine being or Yahweh. As in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, the Son of Man is simply human and not divine. We as Christians believe Jesus was this Son of Man, and claim to be so. In this video, we'll critique Tovia's view of Daniel chapter 7, and show why the text itself clearly portrays the Messiah as divine, as well how many ancient Jews perceived the Messiah.
The book of Daniel talking about when it mentions a Son of Man?
That's the Messiah. The whole point is that the Messiah is human and he's not divine. The whole point is that he's the Son of Man. So Son of Man means that you've got a daddy, which means that you're mortal, you're human, that you are not divine.
Now what does Daniel chapter 7 even say about the Messiah? Well, if you go to verse 13 to 14, we get an idea of this being called the Son of Man in the prophet Daniel's vision. I saw in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven there came one like a Son of Man. And he came to the Ancient of Days, and was presented before him. And to him was given dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom one that shall not be destroyed. Now to explain this verse a little, in classic Jewish theology, the Son of Man figure is the Messiah, and the Messiah is presented before Yahweh or God and is given an eternal rulership by God on earth. Keep in mind, Tovia Singer believes the whole point of these verses is to show that the Son of Man or the Messiah is simply human and not God. The problem, though, is that there are various attributes that only apply to God, and yet they are applied to the Son of Man. For example, in verse 13, it says that the Son of Man comes with the clouds of heaven itself. Yet this is something that only can be applied to God, as we read in Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1. A prophecy against Egypt. See, the Lord rides on a swift cloud and is coming to Egypt. The idols of Egypt tremble before him, and the hearts of the Egyptians melt with fear. Then again, we see this same concept brought in Nahum chapter 1 verse 3. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and the Lord will by no means clear the guilty. His way is in whirlwind and storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. Here we have two examples where God rides the clouds, and in the Hebrew Bible or Old Testament, he is the only one to do this. In fact, just to name a few more verses where we see God coming with the clouds of heaven, we have Deuteronomy 32:26, Psalm 18:10, and Psalm 104:3. Yet, in Daniel chapter 7 verse 13, we see the Son of Man on top of clouds of heaven as well. In fact, it is this same reason that the Pharisees condemned Jesus to death. In Mark chapter 14, we read that the Pharisees arrested Jesus and were questioning him on who he claimed to be. They asked him if he was the Son of the living God, to which Jesus responds in verse 62, I am, and you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power and coming with the clouds of heaven. And the high priest tore his garments and said, What further witnesses do we need? You have heard his blasphemy. What is your decision? And they all condemned him as deserving death. The Jews were so disgusted with Jesus' claim of coming on the clouds of heaven that they perceived it as blasphemy. This is an example as well of the Jews clearly believing the Son of Man in Daniel chapter 7 to be divine. Now that we have established from Scripture that the Son of Man is divine, did early Jews in the Second Temple period as well have this view? In the first book of Enoch, which was written from 300 to 200 BC, it describes the Son of Man figure as existing before creation itself, which of course means that the Son of Man, or Messiah, would have had to been divine and not human. And at that hour, that Son of Man was named in the presence of the Lord of Spirits, and his name before the Head of Days. Ye, before the sun and the signs were created, before the stars of the heaven were made, his name was before the Lord of spirits. Then, in verse 4 to 6, it talks about how the Son of Man is to be worshipped, and it also goes into further detail of the Son of Man's existence before creation itself. He shall be a staff to the righteous, whereon to stay themselves and will not fall. And he shall be the light of the Gentiles, and the hope of those who are troubled of heart. All who dwell on earth shall fall down and worship before him, and will praise and bless and celebrate with song the Lord of spirits. And for this reason hath he been chosen, and hidden before him, before the creation of the world, and forevermore. Now, although of course, I don't believe the first book of Enoch is scripture, what it provides is what ancient Jews have always thought of the Son of Man, that he truly is a divine being, and not simply human, as Tovia Singer puts it. Tovia Singer has clearly forced his view of God on Daniel chapter 7, as the Son of Man is clearly divine in this text. This view of a divine Son of Man is clearly held by the Jews, as we read in 1 Enoch in the 4th to 3rd century BC, and as well by the Jews who condemned Jesus to be crucified because of his blasphemies in the 1st century AD. In fact, in a debate once, the leading New Testament scholar Bar Ehrman, who is an atheist, said this of Jesus' Son of Man claim in Mark 14.
I think you have to understand that for Mark himself, the author of this gospel, Jesus is the Son of Man. Jesus is coming back in glory. Jesus has been exalted to the right hand of God, and he's coming back as the judge of the earth. It's not that some anonymous Son of Man is coming. Jesus is coming. So, is it a divine claim? Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, it is.
Thank you for watching. If you guys want to see more refutation videos, let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and as always, God bless.